debate this particular issue because we saw protests taking place in different parts of Bengaluru as well today. There is a fear among the minorities, fear of getting harassed if this bill is passed. Is that fear valid? Let's discuss it with our guests who are joining us on the broadcast this evening. We have Brinda Adige, women rights activist, Akai Padmashali, social and political activist joining us, Geeta Bhatt, who is a political analyst too, Dr. Giridhar Upadhyay, Karnataka BJP spokesperson, and we have Father Cyril Victor. Appreciate all of you for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. Dr. Giridhar Upadhyay, let me begin this discussion with you. You just heard what Congress leader D.K. Shivkumar had to say. He calls it Black Day for Karnataka, and he says this is just being used to target the minorities in the state of Karnataka, and you actually do not have any data to suggest that forceful conversion is actually taking place in the state. Your response, sir?
First and foremost, it is not an anti-conversion bill. If you read the heading, you can very nicely see it's a Karnataka protection of right to freedom of religion bill. Nothing to do with anti-conversion here. Forced conversion. Have you mentioned anywhere it is Christian or anybody will be targeting? We are only saying wherever there is forced conversion, that will be taken care by the bill. And what else can you expect from a leader of a party who has sold a hill in the name of Munishwara, a Hindu god, and made it into Yesu Betta? What else you can expect from such a person? If he really has to fight against anti-conversion bill, then he has to go and sit in Dharna in front of Chhattisgarh Assembly, in front of Jharkhand Assembly, in front of Rajasthan Assembly, where his party is in ruling, and there is anti-conversion law there. Why this double game he is playing? Let him first go and protest against his own government and ask them to take back the bill, anti-conversion bill. This bill is very much required.
Okay.
And it is
Father
nothing
Victor,
to do with if somebody gets converted to Christianity on his own will, nobody is going to stop. It is only prohibition of unlawful conversion from one religion to another by misrepresentation.
So you're targeting only unlawful or forced conversion. Yes. Okay, Father Victor, you heard what the BJP has to say. Got your point, sir. Got your point. Father Victor, will you like to respond? Now, BJP trying to say that, if there is no forced conversion, then nobody really needs to worry. Is it that simple?
Ma'am, the whole problem with the bill is in the name of protecting or regulation of the freedom. The whole freedom is curtailed. The whole freedom is controlled. So if that is the situation, then there is a whole fear, trauma that is being created with the choice of the freedom of my religion. You think, will the people peacefully and without any mental trauma, will they be able to choose their religion? The very fact once this bill is going to be passed, surely not just the people, not just those who are in this free and with their own free accord when they are trying to change their religion, they will be afraid. Because unless and until they follow all these procedures, they can be suited with a crime and all the punishments that are being enlisted. So the whole, when the Constitution itself has given the freedom to profess, practice, and propagate the religion subject to public order, morality, and health. And that is what is going on for the last 70 years after the Constitution is being given. So if that is the case, and if there are instances where action could be taken, we salute the government where the government can immediately take action and book such people and punish such people. But the entire bill is masked under in a way to control, in a way to curtail the freedom that is being given in Constitution.
Okay, so you believe that the idea is to control, idea is to curtail the freedom via this bill. Brinda Adige, where do you stand on this particular issue? You heard both the sides here, and you heard the Congress party too.
So we already have laws. It's not that there were no laws. There were laws and there are laws. It is the implementation. Now, continuously, we are talking about force, luring, and misrepresentation. Now, for all that, I'm sure the police and state agencies are well trained to investigate, identify, and file cases wherever required. But what is so special about this particular law is, A, if a person wants to convert, they have to give 30 days notice and seek the permission of the DC. Now, why should a citizen be seeking permission to convert? Why should we take permission from a state public servant to convert? And then the other thing, the clause that has been put in over here is, if somebody else also is upset that I am converting, the case can be taken up. Now, why should somebody else become upset if I am converting? Now, you look at the control that Father Cyril was talking about. Here, if a young person, especially if it is a woman or a Dalit, there is assumption that she cannot make decisions and choices of her own. If she falls in love with somebody and converts to a religion, that choice and decision will be disregarded if her parents or anybody else in the family or the neighborhood or the community object to it. Now look at this bill. He is talking about protection. Who is he protecting? Not me. Certainly not me. Why would you not accept me as a woman making my choices? Also, I have a contention against that MLA who spoke that his mother converted. Does he want to say that his mother is not of sane mind and she's not wise enough to choose and decide that she wants to change to a particular religion? This anti-conversion bill is only to penalize women and Dalits. The Manusmriti patriarchal attitude that women and Dalits cannot make choices and decisions on their own, and hence somebody others must come there and tell us what is good and what is bad for us. Absolutely unconstitutional. This bill just is not the requirement of the day.
Okay, Geeta Bhatt, now there are 2 points here that I want to ask you. One, so far the government has not been able to come out with any data to suggest that this much of forceful conversion has taken place in the state of Karnataka, say in the last 6 months, 1 year, or maybe 2 years, which has prompted the government to come out with this bill. Your response to this, and on the other hand, the comment that is made by Father Victor and Brinda Adige as well on how this seems to be an idea to control the freedom of the minorities.
You're asking me?
Well, I think, trying to compare that, trying to put forth this bill that it is trying to curb the freedom of minority itself is very strange, because if one goes through this particular bill, one can see that there is no particular religion which has been named in it. And, strangely, the politics which is being revolving around the conversion, any law which is related to conversion is something which, if you come across it, I was listening to Mr. D. Shivkumar. In Himachal Pradesh in 2006, a similar law was brought, and it was brought by the Congress government. In 2019, there were certain amendments which were made in this bill in Himachal Pradesh, which was related to more stringent punishment. And both the Congress and the BJP representatives, they, supported it, the changes that were made. Now, if it has been brought, similar cases have, if it is being brought forward by the Karnataka government, the politics around is something, we need to look at the merits or demerits of the particular bill, irrespective of, looking at from a political lens. Also, let me just tell you that this is this particular, conversion which you are saying that there is no substantial data. There are innumerable number of cases which are reported in the press, which are related to conversions forceful. The whole point is that there are women who become vulnerable under the garb of, either love or lure of money, where at times they get blackmails, there could be, there is coercion, there is intimidation. And it is, to protect them, that such kind of bills are very important. But what is happening in Punjab? In Punjab, a large number of from the Dalits are being converted into Christianity.
You've made a few points. You've made a few points, Ms. Geeta Bhatt. Okay, you've made a few points, Ms. Geeta Bhatt, and Brinda Adige wants to respond. But before that, Brinda, let me quickly go across to Akai Padmashali as well, has been waiting patiently since long. And then I'll come to you, Brinda Adige. Now, Akai, how will you like to respond to what Ms. Geeta Bhatt had to say? Because here, a point is being made that we are seeing it from a political lens, and hence this opposition is coming. You don't belong to any political party. Brinda Adige doesn't belong to any political party. Akai Padmashali, can you hear me? Okay, we'll try and reconnect with Akai in just a bit. But Brinda, if you would like to take that question.
It is political. The moment you impinge on my right of choice, my freedom, my privacy, because religion is a private matter, it is political. It cannot be anything else. Madam Geeta, whatever explanations you gave, you know that the police of the state, the NIA including, have said that there are no forced conversions. If the newspaper reports are given, that you must verify and investigate. Are you saying that the police are not able to investigate correctly if there have been forced, coerced or lured conversions? What are you trying to say? You are doubting your own police? You are doubting their capability and professionalism?
Geeta Bhatt,
what is that
quick
doubting?
Response.
They have not brought anything.
Because we know there are laws to check forced conversion. It means that the police are not able to do their job. And that's the reason why perhaps a bill like this is needed to stop forced conversion.
You see, first of all, I would like to...
So penal clause can be added. Why do you need another bill?
Why do you require an atrocity act?
Let Geeta Bhatt respond first, then I'll go across to... One second. Dr. Giridhar Upadhyay, let's have a civil debate. Dr. Giridhar Upadhyay, let's have a civil debate. It's a very important issue that we are discussing. One second. Dr. Upadhyay, I want to give equal time to all my guests. Let Ms. Geeta Bhatt respond. I will come to you for your response as well.
Well,
Ms. Geeta Bhatt.
Yes, I just heard my co-panelists mentioning about, and condemning Manusmriti. If she could also quote what is written in Quran when it comes to conversion, to move out of Islam, what is the punishment that has been written over there? What does the Bible say when someone tries to, go into some other faith? I think then it would have been a comparative study needs to be done, and if she puts forth, then she will realize that what Manusmriti says and what other, other books are saying. Though there is no, you can't compare the three. If you look at it, please do try to quote Quran also over here. Secondly, I want to put forth that it was in 1950s that it was a Congress government which has put forth Justice Niyogi Commission to look into, because there were massive reports of conversions which were not voluntarily done. And it was a Niyogi Commission report because of which the Congress government then in late 1960s had put forth a similar Freedom of Religion Act in Odisha and then in Madhya Pradesh. So why it was then done, even in the 20th century, this was such a matter of concern. So if the government of the day then had looked into it and put forth such laws, if today some state government is coming out and this law is there across in many states, in Uttarakhand, why is it that a Kerala High Court judge had to come out and had to make an observation to the Kerala government in 2009 and say that they must come across with a anti-conversion law, because that is where the first time we got love jihad, the term love jihad. So these are also realities which you cannot shut your eyes to.
Dr. Upadhyay now, then Akai Padmashali. Yes, Dr. Upadhyay, your turn now.
See, these people are saying it's unconstitutional. Do they know about Stanley versus Madhya Pradesh case of 1978? Reverend Stanley went to the court, and at that time he said, I can propagate, I can profess, and I can practice religion. And it was a constitutional judgment, bench judgment, 5-judge Supreme Court judgment. You know what they very clearly they have mentioned? Propagate doesn't mean license to convert. Very clearly. That's why the Madhya Pradesh anti-conversion bill and the Orissa conversion bill, the court did not repeal it. They said propagate means it is not licensed to convert. It's very clear. If you are anti-constitutional, go to the court. So the parties can sit inside and they can discuss about it.
Dr. Giridhar Upadhyay, Dr. Giridhar Upadhyay, then my next question is that how are you going to find out whether a conversion was forceful or it was by choice? Because this can also be used to target certain people by some fringe elements. How are you going to stop it?
See, there are many acts which has been misused by people. That doesn't mean there should not be act. Even Atrocity Act, even the Domestic Violence Act, even the Dowry Act also. There are a few people who misuse it. 98% are benefiting it. Isn't it? Out of that, this thing. So there are proper laws, this thing in the bill, which will very clearly tell whether the person is forced conversion or this thing. 30 days is a time. If somebody is doing it on free will, he will go and register himself. If somebody is forcing, it is the onus also depends is on the person who is converting. This is a problem. And you are saying there is no statistics.
Okay.
You just see on the Google map of Chitradurga and Davangere, you see hundreds of illegal churches. Google map you see. Do you think they are doing Ram Bhajan inside
I'm glad you used the example of, I'm glad, Dr. Upadhyay, that you used the example of Chitradurga, because a BJP MLA in the assembly had made a statement that his mother was brainwashed, and when the Tehsildar actually carried out the investigation, the report said that there was no forceful conversion. That's the reason why I asked very specifically, that is the reason why I asked very specifically, do we even have the data to show if there was forceful conversion in Karnataka or not?
Conversions are doing in a cunning way. They are not. It is not shown in the government records. They are crypto Christians. They want to take the
Akai Padmashali wants to respond.
Dalits,
then Father Victor.
The real Dalits also.
You've made your point, sir. You've made your point. Akai Padmashali and Father Victor. Then Akai, yes.
Ma'am, in the 1994 case with the S.R. Bommai and versus Union of India, Supreme Court of India ruled that any state that supports or participates should always be in a neutral manner in the affairs of all the religious groups, so much so even atheists. Now, what is the problem with this bill? What happens is, it is looking at even the religious bodies and their activities. You know, it says no giving free education, no giving free healthcare. Tomorrow, even a small act of kindness in our school or in our institutions can easily be termed as an inducement. And just giving a broad definition or broad line of this inducement can itself be mishandled by the miscreants or vigilante groups for the moral policing. So it is better that the government deals such particular acts and takes the necessary action than giving such unnecessary bills, which will only increase the problem. Because in this year alone, there have been Karnataka stands.
You're saying that this is going to further complicate the problem.
Yes. Karnataka
got your point, Father Victor. Akai Padmashali, we've been trying to connect with you. Yes. Make your point. I have very little time. Yes.
Karnataka stands third in all the attacks that are being made.
Father Victor, sorry to interrupt, but let Akai Padmashali please also make a point. Yeah. Yes.
I feel happy to be part of India. I feel happy to speak about the issue that is really unspoken. I decide my clothing. I decide my food. I decide my gender. I decide my sexuality, I decide my class, I decide my caste, and I want to decide my religion too. India is known for its plurality. In the name of bifurcating peoples from a very fascist perspective, that's highly condemnable, unacceptable. I think many of my fellow panelists were talking about constitutionality versus unconstitutional. I think without understanding the importance of the constitutional morality, constitution values, and its importance of ethics, how do we implement this in this process? I think this is so disturbing that the bill which was tabled yesterday without any knowledge, having the ground reality, it is very disappointing that bifurcating one minority section on the grounds of religion, it is so disturbing a lot. The direct affecting against women, children, the most voiceless of the society, the marginalized, the vulnerable sections are being targeted. And why is this so? And the government which we are speaking now today at the center and also at the state, very respectively, which is known for its process of mishandling from demonetization to Citizenship Amendment Act to NRC to NPR to the Farmers Act to the Transgender Act to the Triple Talaq judgment and its process of handling, it's very disturbing. I think the country is living in an undeclared emergency situation. I think with bifurcating the plurality of the country is highly unacceptable. And I'm not in favor of the proposed anti-conversion bill. I think any sort of forced conversion, which I'm not in favor of it, and I'm against it. I think let's talk about the whole issue of
Dr.
plurality.
Upadhyay and then Ms. Geeta Bhatt.
Of dignity.
Okay, quick comments. If these kind of concerns are being raised, simple question, one second, hear my question first. If these concerns are being raised, if there is a fear of harassment, don't you think they need to be addressed? That's the direct question. Dr. Upadhyay, then Geeta Bhatt.
It will be addressed, but I don't want to hear a sermon from an urban Naxal about fascist and dictator and other aspects. Everything will be addressed.
Let's not make such personal comments. I'm sorry, Dr. Upadhyay. This is not acceptable. No, I'm sorry. No, 1 second. Why are you calling somebody urban Naxal here on the show? I mean, I'm sorry, Dr. Upadhyay. I am giving you equal opportunity to make your point. I'm sorry, Dr. Upadhyay, but this is not the way. This is not the way to have a debate. No, I'm sorry. Here we are having a civil discussion and you cannot call anybody urban Naxal or you cannot use these kind of words for anybody on my show. Dr. Upadhyay, I'm sorry. 1 second. I gave you time to make your point. I gave my other guests also time to make their point. No, this is not acceptable. One at a time. Akai, one at a time. 1 second. Dr. Upadhyay, let's have a civil debate. This is exactly what I said earlier also. And here we are having a discussion. We want to understand. Nobody is pointing fingers at you or your government in the state of Karnataka. We are having a discussion because it's an important matter. Tomorrow, this will be discussed in the Karnataka Assembly. We want you to also address what the minorities are feeling at this point in time. We are not saying that your bill is incorrect. I never said it. I'm sorry. I never said it. Our channel is not saying it.
The minorities do not fear.
I'm not. 1 second. Dr. Upadhyay, we never said that your bill is right or wrong. We are having a civil discussion. We want to understand from you. And we want you to address the concerns of the minorities. Is it too much to ask?
The minorities did not fear about anything because it is not targeting against any minority. It is against only the forced conversion. Dr. Ambedkar and Gandhiji also was against conversion. He said Dharmantar is Rashtrantar. He has very clearly mentioned. Ambedkar also had mentioned, and even Gandhiji had mentioned about it. And that is what we are following. And none of them fear about the bill. It is only against forced conversion. Action will be taken. If somebody on his own will get converted, nobody is going to touch it.
Geeta Bhatt, quick comments. Last closing comments, then Brindari.
See, Hina, there is a possibility, as has also been said by Dr. Giridhara, that there is no law which is 100% foolproof. There is a possibility it could be misused, for which there can be a redressal system which can be prepared for it. But we cannot deny that there are innumerable number of cases including against, the children's home for girls. Very recently in Vadodara, where there has been case that, there are conversions which are taking place. There are so many NGOs, whose FCRA has been cancelled because they have been found to be involved into conversions, and especially, in children's home. So to protect the children, if a child is, being given shelter by an institution which has a, soft corner for a particular religion, that does not mean that that child can be converted. Just because you are trying to give, support to the financial support, or shelter to that particular child. So this is something which is serious.
So nobody can be lured into conversion. That's something that this bill is going to be checking. Okay, last comments, Brinda Adige, then I have to wind up this debate.
The clauses that are in this are anti-people. Already we have heard a lot of mutt heads saying that they are going to constitute task forces, and these task forces will go around checking whether somebody is getting converted, whether somebody is making a choice to get converted, and if the police do not take action, they will take action. Now, we already know that there have been many cases that have happened in the last couple of months in Karnataka, and the police has not been able to do anything to protect people. So now the question arises is if this protection bill is not going to protect the people who have come and made a complaint, who are you going to protect? The vigilantes?
Okay. Those are some important concerns that have been raised, and we really hope these get addressed when this issue is being discussed in the Assembly tomorrow. I appreciate all of you for joining us here on this discussion on Mirror Now. Thank you very much. Heading into another short break.